Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is FTN presented with the Gavin Austin SuperSpeedway Series of the full Send SuperSpeedway Series. I'm here joined in the booth by River Page. We bring you tonight's action here with the now newly Gen 4 stock car on iRacing at Michigan International Speedway. River, how do you think this race is going to play out?
Well, I think it's going to play out a lot differently than the races previous to this in this series. Obviously, not a super speedway, so it's going to be different. The guys with the most speed are going to be in the front, unlike a super speedway series race where there would be a pack. So I think you're going to see a lot of runs in this race. 70 laps, pretty solid length. So I'm excited to see how these guys are going to do with the long runs here. And this new car, a lot more power. It's a lot more to handle, a lot harder to drive. So I'm excited to see who is going to be able to tame this car.
Yeah, and you're right about that. A lot more challenges with this new update. A lot more power, and the rev range is a lot higher. iRacing made a mistake when uploading this new car, but now it's here to stay because of the emotional and the 24-hour response by almost every driver on iRacing to keep the car here was absolutely insane. Just over a 24-hour period, we showed so much support for the new update that iRacing decided to keep it, and now it's going to be a fully fledged Gen 4.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Made a mistake, and everyone talked about how they wanted it to stay, and iRacing let it stay. And they're going to have a series for this, an official series for this car. And obviously, it's a lot quicker, so not a Gen 4 at all. This race was supposed to be with the street stocks, decided to make the change to this. And now I believe practice is supposed to end. Not sure.
Multiple drivers driving backwards on the racetrack, but gonna jump to qualifying here shortly. I guess they want to do a few more laps of practice, but I am surprised by a number of guys just going backwards. That's not the correct way around the oval.
Yeah, this practice session has turned into more of a wreck fest.
Walker spins down pit road, but 14 minutes left in practice, which is probably going to be advanced here soon enough as we need to get qualifying underway. A lot of these drivers have, well, I don't know about a lot of these drivers, but a certain number of drivers, a lot here, have a good intermediate skill, and that's basically what this race is going to be. I don't see a lot of super speedway racing here happening with the ARCA car. There's going to be a pack, but nothing to what we're used to in the Gavin Austin SuperSpeedway Series. But River, how do you think a lot of these drivers are going to do, knowing that this is the closest race to an intermediate they're going to get?
Well, they're gonna want to try a little bit harder, get the most pace out of this car as they can, because the rest of the races of the series back to the super speedway schedule. So a lot of guys, I think, are going to try and take advantage of this being an intermediate. See, some people that might not be in the front normally are going to be in the front here, and vice versa with the super speedways as we advance. Now, practice ending, qualifying will get underway.
So practice just being concluded, qualifying is now getting underway. 2 laps or 10 minutes. You have 2 laps to set your fastest qualifying laps and 10 minutes to do it in time. As we see John A. Smith roll out of the pit lane. We're going to see a lot of these drivers starting their laps, and it's going to be interesting to see here tonight who gets on pole, because this isn't super speedway qualifying, this is intermediate qualifying. Though this is a 2-mile track, now with how much power the ARCA car has, which is now the Gen 4, after iRacing's accident got turned into a permanent update, we're now going to see a big change to how this car races here. With a lot more power, these drivers are going to be about 206 entering turn 1, like the legacy Gen 6. But this is going to be interesting because it still has about the same characteristics as the old ARCA cars. James Bomar hits the wall, running the top on his qualifying lap.
Yeah, see these guys on cold tires. I would assume most of them are going to use this lap just to take it easy, get their rear tires warmed up, because with all this power, it's going to be a lot looser getting on the throttle off of turn 2 and turn 4. There's multiple guys on track, and not a lot of them running the top, though. They're trying to set their heater on lap 1. The difference in this car, a lot more power. It could be a lot easier to set your lap on lap 1 than lap 2, as now John Smith, the first car to make it around and out of turn 4. He will complete his lap first. Jacob Wilkerson on the board as well now, as John Smith is a 39.4. Jacob Wilkerson is a 39.346. And the rest of the field, now 3-4 cars completing their laps.
Right, you are at the top of the timing tables goes Aiden Walker with Josh Williams just behind. Jacob Wilkerson moves up to 3rd. John A. Smith in 4th. Corey Lyles in 5th. Daniel Moore in 6th. Skylar Herod in 7th. A notable number of drivers yet to set their laps as Joseph Lewis goes to 2nd on the board. Jacob Wilkerson stays in 3rd. Josh Williams shoots up to 2nd. And so far, a good number of the field haven't set their lap yet. Jacob Wilkerson now moves up to 2nd as Josh Williams moves up to 3rd. John A. Smith goes down to 4th. Corey Lyles shoots up to 5th. And Landon Gentry now moves up into the 6th position. And Connor Isabel moves up into the 6th position. And the drivers are now setting their laps. Still over 5 drivers who have not set their laps. Gavin Austin moves up to 7th. Aiden Walker still remains on pole with Jacob Wilkerson and Josh Williams finishing their 2 laps. They're finished. In the garage are now 2nd and 3rd. They cannot set any more laps. John A. Smith might be on track to set another one. Corey Lyles is now done in 5th. Walker is now off the track, still remaining in the provisional pole. Connor Isabel still in 6th, has a lap to go. Gavin Austin in 7th with a lap to go. Landon Gentry still on track in the 33 with a lap to go. A lot of these drivers still on track, probably on their 2nd lap. Corey Lyles is now off the track in the garage. He remains P6. James Bomar in 17th. Gonna not change a lot. This is probably his first lap as invalidated the other one. Gavin Austin moves up to 3rd, is still on track as he spins down off of turn number 2. Watching James Bomar on his lap. Currently sits 13th overall on the board. Skylar Herod just around him. This is Cash Culp, who had just finished his lap and is now 11th. Mitchell Armstrong goes on track to set his lap.
Armstrong, and not a lot of people left to complete their laps. Gentry did a lap, but still, well, actually, it looks like Landon Gentry and Mitchell Armstrong, the only 2 people that haven't completed qualifying, and Gentry has turned a lap, so we're just waiting on Mitchell Armstrong, and then the race should get underway, as Mitchell Armstrong, only car still left on track, wraps off of turn 4 on his first lap, down to the apron. Isn't going to be that quick because he was running that top lane, but Armstrong will go to, if timing and scoring will update, oh no, it must have invalidated that lap, is now onto his 2nd lap, and he's going to get into the wall and invalidate that lap also. So no time for Mitchell Armstrong, and no time for Caleb Wheeler, Daniel Mosteller, or Donald Tankersley, and the rest of the field has completed their laps. Just waiting on Lana Gentry to hit that ready to race button so we can get this underway.
So with qualifying now coming to a close, a lot of these guys have already finished their lap, or like we saw in the case of Mitchell Armstrong, invalidated both of his laps, which means you got an X on your qualifying lap, and your time won't count, because if you get an X on your qualifying lap, iRacing takes it as you were cheating. So invalidates your lap, and your lap will no longer stand. It will no longer put you on the timing board and cannot place you in qualifying. Focused on Landon Gentry because he hasn't clicked the ready to race button, so qualifying cannot advance as he's the last driver to remain on track. I don't believe he's completed his 2nd lap.
Yeah, looks like he got onto his 2nd lap.
He's in his car.
He hit the wall, and then he just parked it, and he's not doing anything else, so it would be pretty unfortunate to have to wait 5 minutes for him just to hit ready.
Back out on track again. He's the only person we're waiting on.
James Bomar trying to set his 2nd lap. There's still a couple cars on track. Mitchell Armstrong. Oh wait, okay. Yeah, now the only car. Now he's back on track, and he's trying to set his 2nd lap, even though he's already on it. So he's just gonna finish it, and then we should get underway. As Gentry just gonna come off of turn 4, take the checkered flag, and we should be done with qualifying, as now Gentry completes his lap, and Aiden Walker will win the pole for this 140-mile event at Michigan.
Aiden Walker on pole position, Jacob A. Wilkerson lining up second, Gavin Austin in third, Josh Williams in fourth. That's your top four as we head to the race. And as we get ready to start this wonderful, wonderful race, gonna get ready here, and we're gonna get you the grid. The grid for tonight's race will play out as follows.
Aiden Walker with the pole 39.025, 2/100ths of a second over Jacob A. Wilkerson with a 39.045. Into the third position is Gavin Austin. The fourth position, Josh Williams. Lining up behind Gavin Austin in fifth is John A. Smith, alongside James Beaumont in sixth, Connor Asbell seventh, Corey Lyles in the eighth position, Lana Gentry in P9, and Daniel Moore in the last car in the top 10.
Rounding out the rest of the field, Joseph Lewis is 11th. He is the 28 machine. Then in 12th is Cash Kolb, then Jonathan Ledger and Skylar Harrod. Those were the last people to set laps. Then it was Daniel Mosteller, Mitchell Armstrong, and Donald Tankersley rounding out the field.
Waiting for the rest of the field to grid up, and we will get this race underway. Trying to see if we can interview your pole sitter, but he's not in a voice chat currently. And a couple of cars yet to grid. When they do, we will roll off. Waiting on Mitchell Armstrong, Caleb Wheeler, and John A. Smith, who now is on track. Just waiting on two cars in the back of the field. Looks like they're all in gear, and the pace car will head off shortly. Now the pace car rolls off. Aiden Walker and Jacob Wilkerson on the front row. Two guys who, in their racing history, other leagues that we broadcast here on the FTN YouTube channel, very good at these 1.5 mile or 2 mile tracks, I should say, and they line up first and second. No surprise there. Gavin Austin third. It's fallen behind a little bit. Gavin Austin third in that prime number 88 Chevrolet. Josh Williams up in fourth again, and the rest of the field rolls off of pit road.
With the rest of the field having rolled off of pit road, we're going to get ready to start this event out of 70 laps here in Michigan. So we've got a kind of a long race here today, but as we've got a pretty decent field, about 15 or so drivers here rounds out. So it looks like, you know, a standard ARCA field. What are you feeling about tonight's race, River?
Well, I'm interested to see, you know, the last race was, there was not a lot of green flag laps at Atlanta. It's a tiny track with the big next-gen and flat out speeds, pin 180, 190. So these guys are going to be a lot more spread out. It's going to be a lot more like an actual intermediate race and not a super speedway. So I want to see how this is going to play out with cautions and if they can make it long enough to get in a green flag pit stop, as they don't have enough fuel in these cars. I believe they can make it about 40, 45, maybe 50 laps if they stretch it. And tires are going to be a big thing as well, so green flag pit stops would be in effect if they make it there. And now we go green here at Michigan. A big push from Gavin Austin on the back end of the 93 as Aiden Walker is going to clear Jacob Wilkerson on the top lane going down into turn 1. Walker down to the inside, and the field gets very spread out behind them. 3-4 wide is now Gavin Austin trying to get clear of the 43, and into the wall they both go. Gavin Austin hard into the right front on the outside wall off of 2, collects Jacob Wilkerson, and that gives second place to Josh Williams. And now Walker is going to have a huge lead just from lap 1 alone, as Gavin Austin lots of damage way up on that top lane. His right front is pretty killed. That is a very unfortunate way to start this race for those guys, second and third, and now they will fall back outside of the top 5 as Jacob Wilkerson trying to squeeze back into 5th, 3 wide for that 5th position. Daniel Mosteller started in the back of the field, trying to make up spots as quickly as possible.
So damage showing up already on the right front of Jacob Wilkerson after getting in an incident.
Spinning. Gentry spins and saves it. Wow, okay, continue. Great save by Gentry.
He spins, but no caution being brought out. Aiden Walker still leads the field over Josh Williams and James Bomar. An incident for Jacob Wilkerson and Gavin Austin off of turn 2 on the first lap sees Jacob Wilkerson have damage to his right front. Already on lap 3, and these drivers are already starting to get spread out. Wilkerson with damage.
One car up in the wall. Josh Williams got a little too high up and out of the groove. And Gavin Austin going to go for a spin off of 2. About the same thing that Gentry did last lap. He saves it as well, but obviously struggling with those rear tires and the right side damage. He's going to fall back even further. Josh Williams got into the wall. He loses about 5, 6, maybe 7 positions to now putting the 41 in second of James Bomar. Started a lot further back than this, but up into second. Daniel Mosteller, the big gainer of the race. I believe he started 13th, so this is a huge gain for Mosteller, who's now working that bottom lane. See the 41 going to the top. It's one thing I really like about this track. There's a lot of lane choice. See Mosteller and Bomar both making up time on your leader, as Mosteller all the way to the bottom. Bomar about 2 lanes higher up, as now Bomar trying to peek to the inside on the 93 of Walker for the race lead down into turn 3. He's going to send it in a lot deeper. Walker going for the double cross. Walker back to the throttle a lot earlier. He's going to get to his quarter panel off of 4. Big slide for Bomar. Loses a lot of momentum. And here comes Walker. They're going to be even. Walker's going to lead this lap. Bomar's going to get back to the top lane. We saw him run the top lane the last lap in turns 1 and 2. I think he wants to be up here, as he carries a lot more momentum into the corner, trying to work that middle lane, and it's a great corner for Bomar. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to take the lead off of turn 2. Walker able to get the throttle down, and using all that power that this car now has to show, stays on his corner panel, and Daniel Mosteller has now entered the battle as well. And this top 3 really pulling away now. Mosteller goes to the bottom, trying to throw a slide job on the 41, and there's contact, and Mosteller goes around. Saves it. Now Bomar back across the field, and Josh Williams is upside down. Josh Williams is flipping through the grass wildly, and the caution is out. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Josh Williams went for a tumble upside down at a turn number 4. I
don't know what just happened.
I don't know what just happened either. We're going to go to Daniel Mosteller and get an instant replay.
Yeah, I mean,
so he crosses up, gets loose,
decides that he's just going to flat-foot it into turn 3, gets really loose, and Bomar just has no time to react. Turns him, they both save it, and then Bomar claps the outside wall, spins back down, hits the right rear tire of Josh Williams, and Williams does a full barrel roll and lands back on his wheels. He landed it straight, and that's definitely going to be a lot of damage for Josh Williams, but it doesn't look too bad, because I mean, I don't know what just happened. That was crazy.
So Demo sent it in. He didn't have the grip to keep the rear end under control, and somehow that butterfly effect caused Josh Williams to flip upside down. And
yeah, and the entire field going on to pit road here, and we'll pass. Oh, there's a wreck on pit road. We'll pass it down to our pit reporter Daniel Paulus. On the timing screen here. There's cars spinning on pit road. I don't know what's going on. It's Aiden Walker spun just from 4th place. As now the cars onto pit road, and we'll pass it down to Daniel.
Yeah, guys, as you saw and what you mentioned, guys, yes, they were wrecking on pit road. As you just saw there on your screen, there was a wreck involving the 27. He had no time to react. They are going to repair the damage on the 27 car, and they're going to get 4 Goodyear tires. And for the rest of the drivers involved in that incident, they're going to try to get as much repairs done as possible, but they're not going to be completely up to normal speed as they were in the beginning of this race.
As we see, most drivers exiting pit road now. Everyone on 4 fresh tires, and Daniel Mosteller and Bomar stays out on track. Bomar came out 3rd. Live, no, we are. Bomar is 3rd. I don't think he pitted, and car looks completely fine as he took his fast repair, but doesn't look like he took any tires, as he's going to get passed by some cars who are supposedly supposed to be ahead of him. And that's going to put Aiden Walker, who was the leader of the race, who was in 4th entering pit road. He's going to come out at least 14th on back, with only Jonathan Ledger and Jacob Wilkerson behind him. Also, not sure what happened to Wilkerson on pit road, because he just exited his box. So, a really slow stop for Wilkerson, trying maybe to repair that right front damage that he obtained on lap 1 with the incident with Gavin Austin.
Looks like he did repair it. Looks like he has a clean car once again. So, kind of crazy what's, happening. A lot of this is kind of, it's only the start of the race, and we've had kind of a nuts restart, but the pace car lights are off, signifying that we will go green this time. Getting ready for the drop of the green flag, as we've already almost got 10 laps underneath this race, so we've already got a good chunk of the race out of the, a good chunk of the race underway. And for 10 laps, that was pretty chaotic, as if you didn't see, the 87 of Daniel Marceller had sent it in, and he had caused an incident that stacked at the field, caused the 27 of Josh Williams to flip upside down, and did a complete barrel roll in the grass, but he landed back on his wheels, and he now currently, Josh Williams now currently sits 8th after flipping. A few drivers with incidents down pit road, we'll see them line up at the back of the field, but we're already poised for our first restart of tonight, and it looks like, judging off of the original start, and what Demos was able to do, and cause just off of one person spinning, we're going to see some big wrecks as Gavin Austin now catches up with the back of the field.
Yeah, here as they're about to go green, a couple cars stayed out. I'm not sure who came out first on 4 fresh tires, but Skylar Herod and Corey Lyles, at least, they were not in the front before the caution came out. So those guys on old tires, trying the strategy game, not that many laps on their tires, so it could work out in their favor as the pace car exits pit road into the Geico restart zone. The 3 car gets on the gas, and we're back underway. Corey Lyles gets a little loose on the restart, but now trouble. The 3 car might have missed a gear, and Corey Lyles is going to clear him. He's going to be forced 3 wide by John A. Smith and cleared. Trouble for the 3 car on the restart. And here comes John Smith flying into turn 1, trying to get to the back of the 56 of Lyles. He's very loose up of turn 2, and he's going to hold on to the lead as the field very stacked up behind them. 3 and 4 wide as we got cars around. Wrecking in the back, it's Josh Williams and James Bomar, and caution is not out yet. May stay green for that. And I'm not sure what happened. We could try and get a replay for you, but it looks like they went 4 wide. Jacob Wilkerson from the very back of the field tried to put it 4 wide. They were 5 wide, and Wilkerson... Actually, it happened behind Wilkerson. Oh no, Gavin Austin gets into the back end of the 72, turns him into Jacob Wilkerson, saves it, and the wreck unfolds behind him. So 2 cars out of the field now as Bomar saw the wreck unfolding in front of him and turned down into Josh Williams.
Here comes Daniel Marceller for the lead on the bottom. And he's cut all the way from last place up to the lead right now. Pulls the wheel to the bottom, crosses up, and it works. This time he doesn't wreck the field.
He did that on the first run, so Marceller, a lot of speed in that car. Racing these guys with older tires, and now I think Marceller is just going to pull away. Those cars that have been his competition all in the back of the field. Bomar, Williams, who were in the front before that first incident, now just struggling to stay on the lead lap, as we see still a lot of racing in the back of the pack. These guys trying to get themselves sorted out. Aiden Walker restarted in the very back of the field, now trying to make a move on, I believe, the 28 of Jonathan Ledger for the 6th position, and Marceller holding on to the lead. Now Corey Lyles trying to put on a challenge. Marceller gets loose, overcorrects, he might get into the wall, he keeps it off the wall. Corey Lyles is going to take the lead back as he blinks out momentarily, and the Hooters 56 will lead lap 11, getting back ahead of Marceller, who evidently is running his car really hard, losing a lot of grip on corner exit. All this power this car has, like we said before the race started, it's going to be very tough to hang on to the rear end of these cars on the exit of the corners, and Marceller's proven that 2 times now as he breaks the draft onto the apron with John Smith following him. I'm not sure that's going to help them, but onto the apron. Nevertheless, Corey Lyles pulling away, but very loose on corner exit is Marceller and Lyles, and these guys are just hanging on for dear life out here.
This is going to give Daniel Marceller a great chance to try and catch up to the 56 of Corey Lyles. He lost a bit of ground. He's going to shoot right back up from the apron all the way down. And you could see, when the camera focused on most, you could see him load up that right rear. And he just got a shot off entering the corner. Now he's going to get side. Oh my God, he's going to almost get side by side with the 56 of Corey Lyles off of turn number 2. And right now, I think Mose is setting him up perfectly for a pass.
Yeah, Lyles is on those older tires. He's struggling a lot. See, he's entering a little earlier, running it off the right front. Mosteller running it off the right rear. As you see, almost every time a corner exit, he is sliding. Now he's going to try and go to the apron. Lyles staying up in that third lane. They might get side by side on the corner entry. Now Lyles blocks down to the middle and enters bottom, trying to cover up Mosteller's line, but Mosteller's going to enter earlier, and that's going to give him the drive off the corner as John Smith trying to run that top lane. And it's been quick, but just not, I don't think it's as good as the bottom right now. And Corey Lyles doing a fantastic job defending the Maconia setup shop number 87. Is down into turn 3. Mosteller's probably going to look for a pass. Well, this time he's going to stay behind him. But he gets to the outside of Lyles through the corner and on an exit. He's going to have the drive off. As he gets a little loose, has to correct it. See those, the steering wheel turn into the right. John Smith is going to make this a 3-horse race for the lead. 3 wide for the race lead across the stripe. John Smith is going to take it, and he's going to clear Mosteller into turn 1. What a pass by John Smith.
Yeah, he really used the bottom line to his advantage while the 56 and the 87 were fighting out for first. John A. Smith was able to go down low and take the position with ease.
Yeah, now Floppa, or John Smith rather, it says Floppa in the iRacing, it's confusing me. But John Smith now has to defend off of Corey Lyles. He sends it in, sticks it on that inside lane, gets a little loose, and John Smith is going to hang on to the lead for another lap. You notice him just wheeling that car on the exit 3 and 4. Very tough for these guys. They're turning right almost as much as they're turning left. And now Floppa, or John Smith was going to hang on to the lead for this lap again. Mosteller trying to use the top lane to get around Corey Lyles, as Lyles is going to send it in on the bottom, following John Smith through the corner. And Mosteller's going to have a big run on the 56 of Lyles. It gets very loose. So does John Smith. And Mosteller has to check up. Loses all that momentum that he gained. And now looking at the battle for 4th as the 88 and the 93, Walker and Gavin Austin, these guys have been watching this lead battle, and they've been gaining slowly. As you see, big slide for Mosteller, bigger slide for Walker as he exiting the corner on the inside lane. And now Corey Lyles is going to have a run on the 48 down into turn number 1.
This has been an absolute great battle to see. A lot of these drivers starting to push the car a little bit more. Going to see that wheel action be a lot tighter. Like you said earlier, they're turning right as much as they're turning left, fighting the car as it gets loose or if it gets tight. And right now we've got a great battle for the lead. For Daniel Mosteller tries to set up another move on Corey Lyles. He sends it down low. But Mosteller not able to make the pass work entirely. John A. Smith still retains the lead, but he's slower, and Corey Lyles and he almost blocks him.
Lyles onto the apron. And Lyles was going to lead this lap. Mosteller's
in the grass.
The apron. Not the ideal line. Maybe he's cooling off his left side tires. Not the strategy call I would make, but now Corey Lyles into the lead, and comfortably, as John A. Smith is going to fly it out onto the top lane, trying to get that run off, but too deep of an entry, and he's not going to get that momentum. In fact, Mosteller now has the run on him, and Mosteller is going to give him a little bit of a bump draft heading into turn 3. With this car, that's pretty dangerous, but Mosteller definitely knows what he's doing and doesn't lift up the rear end of John A. Smith's number 48 Lowe's machine too much. And they both slide up off of 4, and Corey Lyles now comfortably leading this race. I don't know if clean air is that big of an advantage, but it just seems like the guy in the lead has got such an easier corner as the guys in second and third.
Johnny, he gets loose and he saves it.
Saved it. And now look at him go through the middle of the corner, gets a huge run on Lyles. Not sure if that helped him or hurt him. As Mosteller really loose. And he saves it.
And
trying to make the move.
Saves it. And he's
now
already battling with
Here comes Walker. Walker takes third, and Walker clears Mosteller. And these guys are getting they're getting temps in the rear tires, and it is not fun, as Mosteller is really loose up in the corner. And Aiden Walker, who's been slowly charging through the field, whereas Mosteller got to the front immediately. Walker took his time, and now Walker comfortably in third. Maybe not comfortably. Daniel Mosteller all over the rear end of that number 93. And Corey Lyles hanging onto the lead pretty easy right now. He's just running that middle lane. It looks super easy for him to just hold on to that middle seam, which is going to do good things for his tires. Here is one car onto the apron a little further back. That would be Cash Culp racing with the damaged car of Jacob Wilkerson and the damaged car of Gavin Austin. Well, Gavin Austin looks like he took a fast repair on his last pit stop, but Wilkerson did not. Trying to conserve his for later on in the race, and he's got right front damage on his car. The field very spread out behind these guys, but now we've got a 4-car race for the lead as Daniel Mosteller with another big run. This time he takes it to the top of John Smith. going into turn 1. John Smith's going to dive it in on the bottom. Side by side with Walker. He's going to slide up. Oh, this is going to get really tight up from turn 2.
Things are already starting to get tight. It looks like they make contact. Mosteller saves. He taps the wall. But an amazing save for Daniel Mosteller, and he gets the position. Oh, an amazing move for Daniel Mosteller as he sees the position to John A. Smith. As John A. Smith gets loose, tandem loose. He's still loose, and he saves it off of 4. An incredible save for John A. Smith, but that'll move him down to the back of the pack.
Yeah, these guys are struggling on those tires, and now Aiden Walker takes over second because of that little incident from John Smith, and Walker has got a lot more tire in the corner of that right front, and he's going to get a run on Lyles. He's going to get to the inside, and look at the momentum from the 93, just drives by Lyles on the back straightaway, and I don't think Corey's going to have anything for him going into turn 3. As Walker slides up, gets loose up there in the marbles. Not a lot of cars running that high in 3 and 4. As Mosteller gets loose into the wall.
What a phenomenal save.
Oh, here comes Wilkerson, though. That's going to give Wilkerson third into turn 1. These guys are struggling off of turn 4 with the tires they're on. As now Lyles going to go to the inside, back for this lead position. He wants it back, but Walker just driving around him off of turn 2, and Walker now back to the lead comfortably where he started this race. Pole sitter back into the lead, and now Daniel Mosteller, he wants that third position back, trying to get to the back of the 43. And he's going to relinquish some time. As you see, further back, we got a battle heating up for position 4 as John A. Smith lost the 4th spot and then gained it back almost immediately. Or, looks like, he still sits in 5th. As now we're going to go, further up front, they're almost 3 wide as Lyles got passed by 2 cars in 1 corner. And Wilkerson now second and Mosteller in 3rd. Corey Lyles losing a lot of momentum. Those old tires are coming back to bite him.
Well, Mosteller been in that 3rd position for a while now. Been kind of fighting these guys pretty hard, but Mosteller running an odd line, but he's making it work, and now he's sitting comfortably in 3rd. He's gonna go try and catch down and maybe save a little bit of his tires, but now he has to go run down Wilkerson, who he's caught up right in front of. But the person they're all trying to catch is Aiden Walker, who now leads lap 24.
Yeah, Walker, the comfortable lead, and he's going to have a bit of a challenge from the 43 of Wilkerson, but Wilkerson not quite there to make a move, but he might get to him on corner exit. Wilkerson, it looks almost the same as Walker trying to get around Lyles. Wilkerson, a lot easier to make it through turns 1 and 2 on the apron. He's going to get in that draft. He's going to get a run, pulls out, goes to the inside into turn 3, and the 93 gives up the spot. Can Wilkerson hang on to that line and block him? He's gonna. And Jacob Wilkerson to the lead now. Walker will have nothing for him, but he's going to get in that draft, and he's going to go and try and make a move again. Now Wilkerson protects the bottom, and Walker goes to the top. And Mosteller and Lyles still hanging out 3rd and 4th, watching this unfold ahead of them, as Wilkerson's going to drive it in a little bit deeper and take the spot. Walker's going to have another crossover for him off of 2, and now he's going to be the one with the run down the back stretch into the draft, and Mosteller enters the battle as well, as they're going to go into turn 3 side by side for the lead.
So now you're going to see them. Oh, they're getting real close. You can see it from this onboard shot. They're going to get real close to making contact. And he downshifts. That's an interesting strategy. I haven't seen downshifting at a 2-mile track.
Oh, wow. I mean, it must be something with the gearing because of the new speed with these cars, but they're using 3rd gear, and I think that's why some of these guys are getting such a huge run. I did not know they were going into 3rd gear. That's crazy. Now Walker stays in 4th gear through 1 and 2, but he shifts to 3rd on the exit. They're shifting to 3rd gear on the exit to use the extra RPMs to get a run. That is really interesting, and it's evidently working. As you see, if we ride on board with any of these guys, I'm sure you will hear them go into 3rd gear on the exit to get the drive off. As you see, now Walker and Wilkerson shifting to 3rd gear on exit. That is so weird. All of these guys doing it now. And I wondered a little bit how the draft was so strong. It's not the draft. It's these guys going into 3rd gear. That is crazy.
We found out by one of our oval representatives, Ethan Samley, that after when they removed the red limiter, which was the mistake, that when they also added a little bit more power, there's a big of a power band from about 8,000 RPM, which would have been the normal ARCA red line. So once they get in that power band, they gain upwards of mile an hour. Here, we're going to ride on board with Walker. You can hear him messing with it, but he's in 4th gear.
He's going to put it in 3rd.
There
right
it
here
is,
on
right
the
there. You can see right on exit,
gear.
he shifted into 3rd.
And they get to almost 190 miles an hour in 3rd gear. That's crazy. And they're going to enter the corner at almost 200. Walker's going to slow down, back it down a lot, and then he's going to drive on that apron. Takes the corner in 4th gear. And then out of the corner, as Walker blinks out, now back in. Out of the corner, he's going to get it straight, and then he's going to shift it to 3rd. Not this time. I'm sure that's not going to help saving your rear tires. All this extra power, you're going to want some rear tire for the end of this race. And now Mosteller trying to make a move on Walker. As they come out of turn number 4. Jacob Wilkerson still with a comfortable lead. And off of 4, they don't go down to 3rd gear anymore, as evidently it's getting those cars really loose. And I think that's maybe, yeah. What is Mosteller doing?
Riding on the back bumper of the 93, trying to use all that he can, using the draft to try and catch the 43 of Jacob Wilkerson out front. Lap 30 out of 70. This race has gone by rather fast, and the 87 of Daniel Mosteller got a little bit loose, as well as the 93 of Aiden Walker. Now they're trying to go catch the 43 of Jacob Wilkerson, who now leads this race. But an oddity that we didn't expect to see is the drivers actually downshifting on exit to use the extra 8K power band. Is big save.
Saves it. Almost got into the back of the 93, but he saved it.
Big save for the 87 of Mosteller. Sends right behind the 93 of Aiden Walker. Now with an incredible save, they're both going to try and regroup and go catch Jacob Wilkerson, who's now in, who's been in 1st for this whole run. Corey Lyle's still in 4th, so good run for him. But John A. Smith, after that one big slide, now sits about 7th. So he's dropped like a rock.
They come back up of turn 4, this lead pack of 3 or 4 cars, with Lyle's just hanging onto the rear end of them, but he's kind of fallen off as here comes Aiden Walker. Got it back into 3rd gear, and he gets the momentum off the corner. And he goes to the bottom. He might clear the 43 on the corner entry. He does, but Wilkerson's trying to drive on his outside. Now, Walker slides up. Wilkerson's going to get that double cross move off of turn 2. Slides up, almost contact. He's saving. Now he turns him. And around goes Wilkerson. He's going to save it. No, he gets it locked down, but he keeps it off the wall. Inches away from the inside wall. He may have just tapped it. No, he kept it off the wall, and there was maybe a gap of half a foot to the outside or the inside wall for the 43. And I have to say, I saw that coming with the 43 trying to make the double cross move. He started sliding up, and once that happens at a track like this, you just really can't correct it. And he had it saved, and then he overcorrects and turns the 93, and a great save by Walker, and a great save by the 43 to not hit the inside wall.
Oh, and just eventually that looseness is going to catch out somebody.
So close to the inside wall. That's insane. I mean, it reminds me of Sheldon Creed keeping it off of the inside wall at the Auto Club race this year. But he, instead of whipping it around and pinning the throttle, Wilkerson gets it back down and stopped. And now that's going to give a big break to some of these guys who are struggling with their rear tires. About a 20 maybe 25 lap run. And they're going to get 4 tires for sure. And these cars, you see, lap cars going to the top to get their laps back, and everyone figuring out their position as Walker stays in the lead. So glad the caution came out for him, because he would have been really slow with those worn tires that he had it locked up and spinning the rears. And now all the drivers on pit road go back to Daniel Paulus, our pit reporter, and Aiden Walker drives it in, and the rest of the field follows with just a couple oddities staying out.
Yeah, guys, as you see, the 93 of Walker, our leader, and the 87 right behind him. They're going to come down pit road. They're going to get 4 Goodyears and a can of Sunoco fuel. As you see the rest of the drivers behind them, as the 56 heads to his pit, they're all going to get new tires. And we're going to head back out here, and we're going to have a great race.
As you see, more drivers just who are qualified in the front into their pit box. Wilkerson, second position into his pit box. And Wilkerson on 4 tires, left sides go up, back down, and Daniel Mosteller comes out of pit road, your leader. And not sure what happened to Walker. Maybe taking repairs. I'm not sure how much damage he could have gotten from that car, but I'm not gonna lie, I cannot find the 87 on the track, or the 93. Now he comes out of his pit box. And very far behind, so probably repairing damage from that incident. Nevertheless, a great save, and kept it off of the wall, and kept it away from being a bigger wreck than it could have been, which could have been 2 cars head-on in the inside wall, which could have ended both of their days prematurely if they hadn't had a fast repair. But that puts Daniel Mosteller in the lead now. And we saw what he did on the first 2 runs, which was come from the back of the field to the lead. So I would ask what you guys would think Mosteller is going to do with this lead now, as he's going to have clean air and he's got one of the fastest cars on the short run.
So Mosteller coming out of pit road as the leader, and he's got one of the fastest cars on the short run. I think he's got one of the fastest cars overall. Mosteller proves a good point, and he's gonna try and win tonight's race. And looks like he was really strong in the short run earlier. When we mentioned just off of the restart, he was able to drive all the way from last up to the lead. And now he's going to be, believe actually Aiden Walker retains the lead. No, he doesn't. He retained the lead after the caution had come out, but now Daniel Mosteller, again, is your leader. Gavin Austin lines up second after a good pit road. He might have only taken 2. Because I didn't see, everyone else took 4, and I think maybe a gamble the 88 as he takes 2.
We'll have to see. I mean, he was pretty far up there, racing in that second pack, so we'll see how it unfolds with these guys. Some of the cars who haven't been to the front, Gavin Austin second. In 4th, Joseph Lewis, who was strung out behind the first 2 packs of cars. 72 of Connor Asbell. Asbell is going to restart in 5th, and John A. Smith in 6th. See if he can rally his way back up into that top 3. Aiden Walker 7th. 8th is going to be the 27 of Josh Williams, involved in that flip on the first caution. And James Bomar, who was wrecked out early in that second run, but did not get a caution. So we'll see where Bomar goes now as he's back in the pack. He's got a fast car as well, and right behind him is Jacob Wilkerson. Watch out for those 3 who are 4th, 5th, and 6th on the bottom lane. All 3 cars that have been in the front today. And now into the Geico restart, so Mosteller gets pushed by Lyles, almost spins it out on the restart, and saves it. And Gavin Austin and Daniel Mosteller take off with the lead. John Smith putting it 3 wide, almost 4 wide in the back of the field, as Aiden Walker trying to make up spots as soon as he can. But into turn 1 is Mosteller, who gets very loose, and here comes Gavin Austin trying to drive it around the top of him, but it's not going to work. And Mosteller, he's still in 3rd gear.
Loose.
Big loose. Trying 3rd gear. It did not work, and Gavin Austin now is going to try and make a pass.
Daniel Mosteller's tires now lit up, and they're very hot after getting loose and saving it twice.
Oh, contact!
Run into him.
He slides, he saves it. Wow, and look at John Smith. He's going to take 3rd, he's going to take 2nd. Here comes John Smith from the back of the field, and Mosteller's going to drop back. And now, I said to watch out for that 41 car. I believe he started 9th, and now in the 3rd position, racing Corey Lyles for the 3rd position, and Mosteller dropping back very far in a huge slide for him. What a save. As now Mosteller contact with the 28 Joseph Lewis, and he saves it again. Mosteller all over the place. And like you said, rear tires lit up is not a good combination with this car, with all the horsepower it's got. 800 horsepower with this Gen 4 build. And it is not like 3rd gear with cold tires.
Nor does it seem to like cold 3rd gear with hot tires, as they try and extract the most they can out of the car using that extra power band above 8,000 RPM. It's treacherous when it goes up that high, because the car starts to get really wiggly and really loose, but you get such a boost in speed on your competitor. It's really hard not to want to use it every lap, but a lot of these drivers are already struggling just off of cold tires alone, getting loose, and this is going to be an interesting restart. First couple of laps have been, green, no real issues. Daniel Mosteller, who did start in the lead, has dropped back to 5th. And one of the biggest movers...
One more big slide.
Bomar, big slide, but one of the biggest movers in the field so far, John A. Smith, who's now currently second. He was lower in the field, who's now in the wall. Same with Gavin Austin.
Both hitting the wall in the turn 1. Now, as battles continue, Bomar gets into the back of the 56, a slight little tap, and that's going to give all that momentum to Corey Lyles, who still sits in third. He wasn't in the front for the first run, stayed up there for the second run, and he's doing a great job of doing that. As now, John A. Smith, the 48 machine, trying to use the top lane to get the run off the corner. Stays off the wall. Corey Lyles with a big slide, and here comes John Smith in the draft of Gavin Austin, using third gear, about 185 miles an hour, shifts up. Now he's going to enter turn 1 at 200 miles an hour to the top lane. Austin tries to defend, but he's going to drive down. And John A. Smith, he's been one to use that top lane all racing 1 and 2. He's going to try and get there, but he gets loose, and Austin
Gavin gets loose too. Gavin Austin gets loose. He taps the wall with his right rear. But it's a great save from Gavin Austin.
Yeah, and that would have opened up the door for the 48 if not for him to get loose as well, as he washes up big time in turn 3. And here comes Mosteller. Mosteller with a huge run. He's going to go to the bottom, and he's going to lead, or be second rather, crossing the line this lap. And John Smith lost a lot of momentum. What a pass. Mosteller just clean into turn 1 with the spot. And they battle on behind him. John Smith dropping back a little bit. Corey Lyles trying to make a move on him now. Follow the 87 of Mosteller. And now Gavin Austin pulling away big time, and John Smith losing all that momentum really saved him from having feel the pressure from the cars behind him, as the gap opened up to about a half a second between your leader and Daniel Mosteller. Now closing the gap.
Oh, big slide for Corey Lyles, gets in the wall off of 4. He saves it. These are getting real loose.
Yeah, they're so loose off of 4. I mean, off of 2 as well. We've seen it time and time and time again. Just keep sliding.
A lot of these drivers using that third gear, that extra power band to try and get it, and gets loose, and James Bomar makes the pass on John A. Smith. Bomar moves up to third. Corey Lyles also makes the pass, so the 48 out there trying and just struggling loose, but he's just trying to stay up there in the top 5, and so far, not ideal for the 48.
Yeah, we saw him. He drove all the way up to second, but got some temp on the rear tires. Has been sliding around ever since. And now feeling the pressure from the 6th position car of Jacob Wilkerson, involved in that incident, dropped way to the rear of the field. Now he runs 6th. Aiden Walker in 7th, the other car involved in that, who repaired his car on pit road and lost a lot of spots. But they're 6th and 7th right now, as John A. Smith gets in the wall for 2. Another big slide and big save for the 48. He got into the wall, and Wilkerson's going to breeze by him and take over 5th. As 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th very spread out. Gavin Austin with a comfortable lead over Daniel Mosteller, and in 3rd place, 3rd place is James Bomar. Lyles 4th, the 5th position Jacob Wilkerson. 6th is Walker, who also gets around John Smith, who's just falling like a rock right now. Continues to lose positions. Now almost into the back end of the 93, trying to get right up to him, and he gets loose again. Big slide, and he's going to lose another spot to the 28 of Joseph Lewis off of 2, and just continuing to drop. That might put him 9th if the 27 could get by him, so trouble for the 48 right now.
Problems for John A. Smith as he continues to drop back. Looks like he's going to pit.
He's going to pit. Unexpected, to say the least. Gets it back down to the 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, or must be 60. He's going pretty fast right now. But John Smith trying a strategy play here, as he just got those rear tires worked up too much, and he just had no speed anymore, kept sliding. So John A. Smith into pit road, into his pit box. He's going to get the right side checked up, taking probably 4 tires. He's going to go a lap down, I believe, as your leaders are working their way through 3 and 4 now. Gavin Austin still comfortably hanging on in front of Mosteller and Bomar, as now John A. Smith exits his pit box, 4 tires and fuel in that number 48 machine, as he heads back out onto the track. I think they could not have enough fuel. That might be why he's pitting, but if that's not why, he's going to have to set some absolute heaters right now. As these leaders still, I mean, basically a second slower than their qualifying pace. Well, actually, no, a lot more than that. So they could work for John Smith, but he's gonna need to run pole times for 20 laps if he wants any of his positions back.
I imagine these guys are going to have a green flag pit stop. James Bomar getting big loose off of 4. Now, he's already using those new tires to his advantage, and Flop is already cutting through the field, already ahead of Wilkerson, and he's going to try and see if he can cut through the field and get all of his positions back. So he'll cut a break, and he's already up.
Ooh, Bomar in the wall. 4 wide with John Smith. Oh, contact Corey Lyles. Lyles saves it. And here comes Wilkerson. Contact turns
comes down.
Around Bomar. Around the 56 of Lyles, and Bomar, another bystander of a wreck, and Bomar hard into the inside wall head on, and that will bring out your third yellow of the day. And take a look at what happened there. And it all started with Bomar hitting the wall, and John A. Smith hitting the 56 got them all checked up, and Bomar was loose. The 56 came down, and Jacob Wilkerson just decided that he wanted to go to the inside of Bomar. There was room there. It looks like a lot of netcode, at least on my end, for Wilkerson and Lyles. They were not close when they made contact, so maybe an incident on iRacing, but Wilkerson was going to hit him nevertheless. And a couple more cars involved in other incidents. It's just been these guys who have brought out cautions, and Bomar, again, just another bystander. We saw with Mosteller putting the slide job on him early in the race, and he caused Josh Williams to flip, and now he's involved in this incident. So tough day, a tough break for James Bomar.
Yeah, riding on board with James Bomar after the incident. And
gets turned. It's kind of an accordion effect there, and nothing that he could do really with Lyles getting turned below him. Now we're going to see John A. Smith. This is actually really what John A. Smith wanted, because he's going to get his lap back. And as the leaders pit, we're going to pass you back down to you, Daniel Pauling, and we'll see how pit road unfolds for these guys. Gavin Austin now, he's going to have the lead as opposed to being back in the field.
Yeah, guys. So we are heading on lap 50 now with 20 laps to go. I do expect these teams to get a splash of fuel, so they can make the stretch to the end of the race. I do expect some teams to get 2 tires or 4 tires, depending on their tire wear. And as you see, the 48 still coming down pit road, but it looks like the drivers are going to get 4 tires. As you see, the 87 beating everybody off pit road. No, maybe no. The 88's going to beat him off pit road. Back up to the booth, guys.
Yeah, Gavin Austin hangs on to the lead, and Mosteller will come out second, Aiden Walker third, Josh Williams fourth, only entered in fifth, but Joseph Lewis gained some spots. Lyles still right in the middle of the field. He'll be about 6th place, and surprisingly we see John Smith pit. He only had about 3 laps on those tires, maybe not even, so I'm a little surprised to see John Smith come in, but he stays on the lead lap, and I think this time he will try and not use up those rear tires as much as he did on the last one.
yeah, so interesting to see. Ooh, we got maybe a little bit of beef under caution, but Gavin Austin retains the lead over Daniel Mosteller when he coming out of pit road. But I'm honestly surprised to see John A. Smith pit, because he had that strategy all lined up. Just a couple laps on his tires, get him heat cycled again, and he's one of the fastest cars. And that would have given him great track position. I don't know if they can't make it on fuel, but at that point, you would have already had to take enough. So I'm honestly kind of confused over the whole situation there.
Yeah, I think the only reason that would be the case is because, assuming they go by iRacing rules and just NASCAR rules in general, if you get your lap back, you go to the rear of the field. And so he took that advantage to get another set of tires, because he was going to restart in the rear either way. Not sure. As we see James Bomar, the other car involved in that incident, getting back up to the tail end of the field. He'll be 6th on the outside lane. He restarted 9th on the last restart. He was to 3rd within the first couple of laps. So a lot of speed in that 41. Show 47 on the timing and scoring, but the 41 target machine, that's going to be James Bomar. who has a very fast car. So does John Smith. Those guys restart bumper to bumper, and they are going to be ones to watch coming from the back to the front. Two very aggressive guys, and so I'm excited to see what happens with them.
Right, you are. The 87 of Daniel Mosteller on the outside leads the outside lane, but Gavin Austin on the bottom is your leader. So we're going to get ready to go green here once again. And Daniel Mosteller going to try and maybe not do a repeat of the last restart because he got loose, dropped like a rock, and went back to 5th. Got his way back up to 3rd and got promoted to 2nd after the incident, and then stayed in 2nd coming off of pit road.
Yeah, as we head back into the Geiger restart zone, Gavin Austin leads him to green.
Oh,
and
got
wrecking!
77. They saved it, and
no, John Smith around. Everyone wrecks in the back, and a collapse of the field. 4 or 5 cars involved. The 28 heavy front end damage. That's Joseph Lewis. And what happened there? My goodness. Wreck right in the middle of the pack, and it looks to me like, oh, Daniel Moore just steps on the gas and gets underneath the 28 and just turns them around. And that just accordions the rest of the field. John Smith involved in that. A lot of the cars that restarted in the back. The 41 of Bomar got into the wall. Heavy front end damage for Bomar as he drove underneath the 48 of John Smith trying to avoid the wreck. My goodness, that was crazy. I don't know what to say. I mean, these cars are a little unpredictable on the restarts, but looks like the 77, if we could try and ride on board with his cockpit view, see what he saw, because evidently it looks like the leaders went ahead of him, and he just stepped on the gas, and then they checked up. No, he just, yeah, I'm a little confused. He didn't even get on the gas. They checked up in front of him, and then they had it saved, and John A. Smith got spun. Really weird incident.
Yeah, so a little bit of a confusing incident there on track on the restart. Shades of Auto Club in the Cup Series when they stacked up. Gavin Austin rolling really slowly, waiting for the pace car.
That'll get these guys re-racked, and Gavin Austin stays in the lead. Mosteller stays in 2nd. Williams in 3rd.
Yeah, back up to the booth, guys.
Yeah, so Gavin Austin maintains the lead. Daniel Mosteller still in 2nd.
Don't think these guys are going to pit. You see the Better Call Saul number 60 machine. That's Caleb Wheeler. Great paint scheme, heading around the pace car to get his lap back. He was not in the pack for the first part of this race. It's only a lap down now, though. Jonathan Ledger, who's not on track anymore, 3 laps down. He is out of the race. Gentry out of the race as well, and Mitchell Armstrong not starting the race. He will sit as many laps down as we are through this race, as the field waits for the pace car very, very slowly, coming to a stop in turn 3 and turn 4. Pace car is taking its dandy time right now to get back up the field. Going about 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, so not quite sure. Pace car is ahead of the field. The lights are on, so it's not going to be a quickie yellow.
Yeah, I would assume that they shorten it this time by, though, because, you know, a lot of guys are not going to be happy with that incident, and they're going to want to go back green immediately. There's going to be cars who have to repair damage. That's just really unfortunate for the guys involved, as 1 car, 2 cars heading down pit road. It's Bomar and John Smith. Both had damage on their cars. They're going to get repairs, and everyone else involved in the wreck will come down pit road and get the repairs. We head back up to the leaders. Now, the lights are off on the pace car, I believe. Can't really tell from here, but yeah, the lights on the pace car still on, not shortening. They're going to let those guys who got wrecked take their repairs, evidently. Now, Mr. Alexander, I think you're blind. Pretty sure they're still on.
No, the pace car lights are definitely off.
Well, I'm not sure what's going on.
I don't think you're live.
Oh. My apologies. Now, yeah, everyone's coming back out on the track. All the people that wrecked. And we will go green this time by. all the cars on track on the lead lap. This will set them up for about a 17-lap run. See if these guys can keep it straight on this restart. Evidently, they're getting a little stacked up. We saw the leaders check up there, and nowhere for anyone to go. This time, maybe give each other a little more space might be the memo. Give each other a little bit more time to get back on the gas. And they'll stack up basically in the same order they were. Gavin Austin in the lead in the 88. The 87, Daniel Mosteller in second on the top lane. In third will be Aiden Walker. Fourth will be the 27 of Josh Williams. Fifth is Lyles. And in sixth, Jacob Wilkerson. Seventh is the 3-car, Skylar Herod. Joseph Lewis, 8th. In the 9th position is Cash Culp. And then the first car involved in that incident, or the second car involved in that incident, I should say, is John Smith in the 10th position. And the rest of the field follows behind, about 5 or so cars back there. 15 cars on track, 15 cars on the lead lap. As we head back into the Geico restart zone, Gavin Austin checks up the field a little bit. He will lead in the green. And away he goes. And a big stack up behind them. And it's going to be the 2 leaders pulling away. Not the best restart at all for Josh Williams. And he's going to lose a lot of time. He's going to lose 2 positions. Well, technically restarted 4th, but he's going to get passed by the 93. And behind him was Corey Lyles. Is now side by side for the lead off of turn 2. Gavin Austin trying to hold the inside lane, but it's not enough. Mosteller to the lead. Contact! Mosteller! Oh, he saved it! Mosteller just drove down across the nose of the 88, it looks like, from my perspective. But they stay straight nevertheless. Mosteller just came down, thought he was clear, and he's going to have the lead for now. But the 88 of Gavin Austin drives it to the inside, stays off of the left side of Daniel Mosteller into that 3rd gear, now up to 4th gear, and he's going to clear him with all that momentum. A lot of right side damage on the 88, so be surprised to see him stay up here as he enters the corner way down low. Mosteller driving it around the outside. Almost contact again. These leaders are very close as they're spread out behind them, but these two staying together. Mosteller breaking the draft about 3 lanes onto the apron. Okay, that's new.
That's smart.
And he, yeah, very, very smart move by Mosteller. And he will pull away from Gavin Austin as now that right side damage definitely showing on the 88 as the 93 of Walker going to get the run off. And Gavin Austin puts it in 3rd gear. Walker evidently does not, because he does not have that momentum that the 88 does.
Mosteller went in the grass just before the winner's circle on the front straightaway, the Michigan sign. So a little bit of cheekiness from the 87.
Yeah, team having a little bit of fun breaking the draft, maybe.
maybe a little bit of fun, or maybe he's cooling down his tires to get an absolute advantage over the rest of the field, and he's cheating.
Unbelievable from Daniel Mosteller, but he hangs on to the lead. Now Gavin Austin using that bottom lane in 3 and 4, and he's going to put it back in 3rd gear, like we've been talking about all race. Still a little shocking to me that they're able to use 3rd gear here, and he's going to get a big run on Mosteller. Going to get pretty close to him here, closer than he was last time by down into turn 1. Mosteller just hanging out in the lead. Now with 14 laps to go, this race coming to a close, and these guys trying to stay where they are, make up passes while they still can. As Gavin Austin gets into the wall, a couple cars behind him follow the 88 into the wall, but they keep it straight, and now Mosteller will lead them back into turn 3 once again.
So Daniel Mosteller still leading, coming to about 20 laps to go. Coming about to 10 laps to go. This race has actually gone down a lot faster than I thought it would. And we've already got battling Mosteller breaking the draft and getting inches away from the wall.
Saw some sparks, he might have hit it. These guys rambling around behind them, trying to figure out what is Mosteller doing, because he is swerving all around, and maybe it's a diversion tactic. They don't know what's going on and they're gonna wreck each other. But Gavin Austin stays in the 2nd spot. Aiden Walker hangs on to 3rd. 4th is Wilkerson. 5th Corey Lyles. Josh Williams in 6th. John A. Smith in 7th, still trying to work that top lane and get around the 28 of Joseph Lewis, who rides in 8th. Connor Asbell in 9th. Skylar Herod 10th in the 3-car. In 11th is James Bomar, who has been involved in 2 of the 3, or I believe there's been 4 cautions in this race, but he's been involved in over half of them. And he rides in the 11th position. Donald Tankersley in 12th. 13th, Cash Culp. 14th is Daniel Moore. And 15th is Kayla Wheeler in the Better Call Saul machine. And wrapping back around the back straightaway, Mosteller breaking the draft. Gavin Austin pulls back up in the line. We got 2 cars on the apron. way in the back of the field, but they keep it straight. I'm not sure what happened there. Might have involved Cash Culp as he loses the position. Oh, Cash Culp got turned into the wall. He blocked the 77 down about 3 lanes, and he got turned into the wall, but kept it straight. And back returning to the leaders. Staying in the positions they were in before that slight incident. Gavin Austin, though, making up a lot of time on Mosteller coming off of turn number 2 here.
So yeah, great move for Gavin Austin, trying to get it done, getting right under the back end of that 87 machine. And it doesn't look like it's going to work. He's going to try the same thing again, but oddly enough, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of dirty air here in the ARCA car, and he gets right on that left rear, and Mosteller blocks him back all the way down to the apron, trying to break the draft. Oh, and he's so close to going in the grass again, and these diversion tactics by the 87 might just be starting to work.
It's almost comical how much of the track he's using up, as the 88 and the 93 follow suit, evidently not going as far down or up as Mosteller is down these straightaways, but Gavin Austin is trying to follow him, and that's going to open up the door for 93, almost 3 wide, as you said there, with 10 laps to go, coming to 9. Here comes the 93. Great momentum around the corner. He's probably going to get around the 88 rather, of Gavin Austin pretty easily. Puts it in that 3rd gear, side by side for 2nd, and this is just exactly what Mosteller wants to see. And here comes Jacob Wilkerson. Can he make it 3 wide? Not quite, but he's got a huge run down into turn 1. And these 4 pulling away from the rest of the field. And now Gavin Austin slowing up on the bottom. That's going to give the spot to the 93. They're going to have a huge battle here for this spot, and this is exactly what Mosteller wants to see through his rearview mirror.
That was an insane battle they had, almost 3 wide. 3 wide at some point, sticking the nose in Jacob Wilkerson. This is exactly what Mosteller wants to see. He wants to remain out front and big loose there for the 87.
Yeah, he is all over the place, and you would think that would be an issue, but it's the same thing to the rest of the field as Gavin Austin loses 2 spots that lap. The 93 of Aiden Walker pushing a little bit harder, driving it in a lot deeper than Mosteller. Seeing a lot of different lines being used here. Driving it in deeper, Mosteller drives it in a little bit easier, gets the arc out of the corner, but nevertheless, the 93 is going to have a big run into turn 3. Here he comes. He's going to try and make the move. Mosteller blocking the bottom, and Walker's not going to be able to get to him, and he's going to get almost to his bumper in the middle of the corner. He's going to have a big run off, assuming he does the same thing he did off of turn number 2. But Mosteller, you can hear him, 3rd gear, and he pulls away. And now that's going to open up the door for the 43, as Walker didn't get that good of a run off the corner. Jacob Wilkerson all over his rear end. And Wilkerson could have made a move there into turn 1, but now probably realizing that battling is not what you want to do here with 7 laps to go. Whoa. As big stride for Walker, saved it. And now Mosteller's moving down, giving the draft to the 80 or the 93. But Jacob Wilkerson clears him down into turn 3, and Wilkerson now into 2nd place.
That was a phenomenal lap, showing 5 laps to go. Big loose for the 93 again. Gets loose off of 4, and the top 3 have sort of broken away. The top 2, not quite under a blanket yet, but these 2 are going to get battling, and I think it's going to get hot. Daniel Mosteller struggling with a loose race car. And Jacob Wilkerson seems to be on rails. He's just planting that right rear on the seam. Now he's going to get a good run off the exit of the corner.
Yeah, we've been noticing Jacob Wilkerson's doing a great job running that 2nd seam with the right rear, but Mosteller is getting a little bit lower in the corner, getting a little bit of a better exit. And Wilkerson pushing that thing to its max right now, trying to get to the back end of the 87, as the 93 of Walker dropping off, Gavin Austin dropping off even harder, as the gap between 1st and 4th place of Gavin Austin is almost 2 seconds, and in between 1st and 3rd is almost 7 tenths, just about 6 tenths of a second. So Walker's not out of this either, but Wilkerson is right there trying to do anything he can to get to the 87.
Had a great battle here in the back of the pack, and just Bomar into the wall!
Oh, not again! Bomar, so unlucky, and huge damage for Bomar. Oh, I did not see what happened there. Donald Tankersley washes up, and Bomar plows the wall, loses the front bumper. That debris off the track, and now Bomar's riding around at about 70 miles an hour. no caution for him. And evidently, a lot of these guys talking now, they want a caution. They're not going to get it. And back to the lead battle. Jacob Wilkerson is right there with 4 laps to go, trying to put a move on him. And now the caution's out. And this changes everything, as a late yellow will give an advantage to all of these guys that lost positions on that run. And it's going to be a green-white-checkered. Now is a 70-lap event. This time they will come to lap 68. And a late yellow, unexpected, and this changes up everything. Be excited to see if the drivers decide if they want to pit or not.
This is going to be a crazy restart. It's going to be a green-white-checkered, but terrible damage for James Bomar. And I mean, they were fighting hard for 10th, but I don't know if they needed to be fighting that hard for 10th.
Yeah, this has been a very disappointing race for Bomar. That's the 3rd time that he's been collecting an incident. You know, I don't want to say if that was his fault or not, but the 9 car washed up a little bit. Maybe Bomar came down a little bit, and he's back out on track, but a lot of damage for that number 41 machine. And it looks like he had saved his faster pair up until this point, so Bomar, even though he was involved in 2 previous incidents, got a faster pair. He's back on the track, and he's still in the race. And the rest of the field comes around 3 and 4. I don't think they would plan on pitting, but if Boseller comes in and the 43 comes in, I think they're just going to train in behind him. Staying out on your old tires is going to be tough here because of just how loose it is. These guys are just going to be able to blow by you if you're on old tires. Boseller into pit road, and the rest of the field follows, and we'll pass it back down to the pit reporter, Daniel Paulus Jr., and we'll see how this shapes out.
Thanks, guys. It's been a wonderful race here at Michigan. We will be going over into overtime as you see the 87 heading into his pit stall. I'm pretty sure he's going to get some fuel, and that's going to be it. Maybe some tires, too. The rest of the drivers, I think, are also going to get some fuel and some tires. And the one thing I want to point out throughout this race that we saw today on these restarts, you know how these drivers are. They're going to be aggressive, and they're slick because the tires are new. And when they start getting really hot, they will become more slick. And then throughout the race, 20 laps in, they'll start cooling off, and then it'll be easier for the drivers to drive around this track. Back up to you guys.
Yeah, exiting pit road, Daniel Mosteller, Jacob Wilkerson out as they came in. Walker stays in 3rd, 4th Gavin Austin, and the rest of the field follows suit. Josh Williams gaining a spot on pit road, as Corey Lyles loses 2 positions to Joseph Lewis and Josh Williams, but these top 3, top 4 have been the guys that have been quickest all day.
So Johnny Smith
Floppa is
out.
still on the track. And this is going to be a strategy call and a half for the 48. He's going to have to fend for his life ahead of the rest of the field. Mosteller wants to be ahead of him. He does not want to restart behind that 48 or next to him, but I would assume they are going to try and just get around him as quick as possible. Now it sounds like they want the 48 to drop to the back of the field, because he's just going to be terribly slow on old tires. We'll see if he's... Looks like he might pull in a pit road here. No, he's staying out.
No,
he is staying on the track.
He's taking the lead.
He's committed.
Mosteller
Mosteller wants the lead.
Yeah.
Mosteller is like, no, I'm not restarting behind you. This is going to be crazy if they let the 48 stay up here. And a little
Pace
bit of
car lights
dismay.
are off.
Yeah, Mosteller is trying to take the lead, and it looks like John A. Smith may have gotten an EOL, end of line penalty for the 48 as he starts to drop back. And
yeah,
unfortunately, I do like that call because he was going to be very, very slow. Now he'll drop to the back, so chances of a win basically reduced to 0 unless there's another wreck for the 48 machine. And Daniel Mosteller will retain the lead ahead of Josh Williams, Gavin Austin, Walker, and Wilkerson. Those 4 going to be right on the back of the 87. We've seen them all race for the lead, so this is going to be a really, really intense battle till the end.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I think I do have to agree with you there, and I agree with that call. 48 had stayed out on that pretty long one, pretty long run we had, and I think he was just going to be terribly slow, and he may have had an ounce of a chance to win, but it was not going to be a huge win.
Yeah, definitely. That was about 15 laps, so these guys, the leaders, are about 1.5 seconds off their qualifying pace, so good call by the admins, putting the 48 in the back of the field where the rest of the field won't be in harm's way with John Smith on old tires and known to be one of the more aggressive guys in the field. So would have been cool to see how that would have played out, but now it's going to be pure pace. These guys all on the same tires, brand new Goodyear Eagle slicks, and into the restart zone, the Geico restart zone. Daniel Mosteller leads him to grid. Aiden Walker right on his rear bumper as they get back underway, and Mosteller gets a great jump. No incidents in the back, but not the best restart for Jacob Wilkerson. Mosteller with about 3 car lengths ahead of the 43 down into turn number 1. The 93 trying to take that second position away from Mosteller. Or, sorry, from Jacob Wilkerson. And now Gavin Austin in that battle. There's almost contact. They're 3 wide for second, and Mosteller's just driving away.
They're letting the 87 of Daniel Mosteller get away with it here. He's in far out in the lead, and Jacob Wilkerson gets loose beside the 88, and he's gonna save it. But now Gavin Austin in the 88 blocks him all the way up the track, and they're gonna make it to the white flag. The white flag now out in the air. The 87, sponsored by McConey Setup Shop. Daniel Mosteller leads this race as the rest of the field chase after him. A wonderful restart. He did everything right. It was everything the 87 wanted to see. They're now battling as Gavin Austin blocks down to the apron.
On the apron is Wilkerson.
On the apron is Wilkerson. But the only man we really care about here today is the 87 of Daniel Mosteller. Drove a great race. Had a few incidents in the middle, but he's going to come off of turn 4 and with no opposition behind him to have a chance at the win. Daniel Mosteller comes across the line, and he will win the full Send SuperSpeedway Series Yankee 140.
Yeah, just a perfect drive by Mosteller throughout the entire race, and especially on those last 2 laps. And he deserved that one. He did a great job of running away from those guys while they battled. And saw those 3 in the back trying to race for second. Let that 87 get away. There was contact and a very close finish for second. Wilkerson got the spot by about 1/100th of a second. And we see a little bit of contact, a little bit of beef under the checkered flag. And Mosteller heads around, do his burnouts, and we'll try and get him in for an interview with your race winner.
Daniel Mosteller coming home with a great win here tonight. Daniel Mosteller comes home with the W from McConey Setup Shop. It's a great win for him. And River, I know you're a part of that organization as well. How does it feel to have one of your partner drivers win tonight's race?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. You know, love Demos, love watching him race. He's a great driver, great guy. And now gets into victory lane, burns it down for the packed virtual crowd here in Michigan International Raceway, and blows it up, and he'll tow out. And again, like I said, we'll try and get him into a voice chat for an interview. And now he's in general, so Alexander, we want to go ahead and drag him in here shortly.
River, I think you can go ahead and drag him if you'd like.
Daniel Mosteller, winner at Michigan. How does it feel to get away from the rest of the field on that restart and survive all of the crazy incidents with this new ARCA car and hang on to the win?
You know, I'm just built different. I had a 1,000 horsepower compared to their 900. You know, I'm just on a different level. I'm goated.
Well, yeah, you see here, Demos is goated with the sauce, and so I wanted to ask before this stream ends, how was it getting off of the corners? We saw, I mean, you did it a couple times. There was a lot of wrecks caused by how loose this car was. How was it like driving it off of the corner, and especially in the middle of the corner on that first restart when you caused Josh Williams to flip violently? Terrible incident there. How was it like driving this new ARCA car with all its horsepower?
This car track combo blows. We should have been doing street stocks. I was very disappointed, and it was all loosey goosey. I hate that he had to be shifting to be fast in this thing.
Yeah, we noticed that you guys were using third gear, and we were appalled. I guess just surprised. Strange to see a car at this track going to 185 miles an hour in third gear. But Daniel Mosteller takes it home at Michigan. Anything else you'd like to say? Anyone you want to thank?
Thanks to y'all for broadcasting. Throttle. I love you.
Hey.
Hey, I love you too.
Yeah, you're telling
Wilkerson,
that to me, and you're talking to your McConey partner, and you haven't even said anything to him.
Oh, hello.
Wow. Hi.
Hello. Um, Thanks to Walker, Gavin, Lyles. They were in the admin VC with me. We were chilling. It was a clean race, I guess. It should have been street stock, so I'm pretty disappointed. But yeah, shout out to Wilkerson as well. We were gonna have a good finish if people didn't wreck for dead ass last. And oh, I can't say that. My bad.
We're gonna find
Yeah.
you $10,000 out of Daniel Marcello's pocket for that, but
I'm poor.
well, that's unfortunate. It's gonna go into debt now, and that will finish up the broadcast of this event. 70 laps, and Daniel Marcello is just he's just built different, and he told us that, and he showed us that with his ability to drive this car, wheeled it away from the rest of the field. And Alexander, got anything you'd like to say before this ends?
Yeah, before it ends, we're gonna take a look at the results page, and if we can, I hope Schulte didn't mess it up.
Uh-oh.
There
Shots
we
fired
go.
at the other broadcaster.
Here's the results page, and that is not the correct order. Here's the correct order. Daniel Marsteller, qualified P15, comes out with the W. Jacob A. Wilkerson, who qualified second, stays second. Gavin Austin in third, the 88. Then Aiden Walker in fourth. Corey Lyles rounds out the top five. Then it's Josh Williams, Joseph Lewis, James Bomar, Daniel Moore, and Connor Isabel rounding out the top 10. Flappa, who was John A. Smith in the race, finished in 11th after qualifying P5. The three of Skylar Harrod finishes P12. Cash Culp, Donald D. Tankersley, and then Caleb Wheeler, Jonathan Ledger, Landon Gentry, and Mitchell Armstrong all finished multiple laps down. Mitchell Armstrong, after qualifying P16 after invalidating both of his laps, never actually took the start.
Yeah, a couple guys in the back there did not finish this race, but hey, I enjoyed it a lot. Even though Demos didn't, he wanted street stocks. This was gonna be an event with street stocks, and instead we get this brand new ARCA Gen 4 at ARCA Gen 4 mix. Got an ARCA body with a Gen 4 motor in it, and it's really, really fun to watch these guys traverse a big track with not a lot of grip. Old pavement here, or newish pavement, but nevertheless not a lot of grip with these cars. And Daniel Mosteller comes out on top. Great racing throughout, and great job by everyone. It was really fun to watch. Really fun to be up here with you, Alexander, and yeah.
Well, we thank you all the viewers joining in for tonight's race and having us here watching the Yankee 140 presented by FTN. This has been the full Send SuperSpeedway Series, and as River and I would like to thank you and appreciate you for showing up, we're going to swing you by here, and we're going to show up here soon. David will have a new coverage of another race sometime this week, and he will be showing you possibly another league and another great show. I can't thank enough for David Kreutz, the producer here, the main commentator, main producer of FTN. He is the one who can make this all happen, and give a big thanks to him. And well, as we round it out, we thank all of you guys for tuning in and for joining us here tonight. Can't thank you guys enough, and I can't thank you, River, for being here in the booth with me. Before we head it off, anything you'd like to say?
I would like to just thank you and David for having me up in the booth, and thank Daniel Paulus for being our pit road reporter. Great job. And yeah, just thank all the drivers. It was a really fun show, like I said. A lot of great racing, and yeah, that's all.
And we're going to round it out here, but thanks again to all the viewers who watched tonight's event here at Michigan with the ARCA car. We appreciate you. This has been the Full Send SuperSpeedway Series, and this has been FTN's coverage. We're going to go. We're going to see you guys later, but thank you all so much for watching, and have a good night.
are back live for a brief moment to get your second and third place interviews. I'm David Kreutz, getting the broadcast booth a bit late, and Jacob Wilkerson, well, he too on the night here, able to get a nice and strong run. Daniel Mostella remarked that you really put a great show together for your front. The 043 machine on a tear as of recent. How's it been?
It's been pretty good. The race was fun, besides the yellows, but I feel like if that caution didn't come out with a few laps to go, we would have probably been able to catch Demos and probably passed him for the win. But yeah, I'll take second.
And certainly able to take a nice and strong run home. Now, the Gen 4 cars have been modified when it comes to their package now. They're much faster, much higher horsepower. So what was the key to your success in managing that extra power? Because it looks like a lot of guys not able to make that so.
Just like I would do with any other car, I'll just, it can get pretty loose in the corners, so I'll just like take it easy and just not burn my tires. And yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing the whole race.
And not burning tires indeed was the way to go here with the ARCA machines. Now second on the board, and after a win at Talladega, a great 2 or 3 races, of course, with Talladega being sandwiched with Atlanta in the middle. Now the next race of the season is going to be an all-star race, and that's going to be with the street stocks at Charlotte after an off week. So in 2 weeks' time, we do battle once again what's it going to take for the 043 to come out on top in the all-star event.
I'll be looking forward to that event. It'll probably be very fun, and definitely some pack racing at Charlotte. And yeah.
And there we had it. Well, Jacob Wilkerson second on the board here. So anyone you'd like to thank? Any final thoughts?
I just have to thank Zach Todger for giving me the opportunity to race for PBR, Burn River Racing Warehouse, and everyone else on Team PBR.
And there we go. Jacob Wilkerson on a hot streak so far, second at Michigan in what may be the hardest track to handle here in the full Send SuperSpeedway Series. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
There you have it. That's going to be Jacob Wilkerson second on the night, and Gavin Austin, our league owner, able to come home third on the board here, so able to round out the podium of the number 88 machine. Strong all night long, but oh so close to capitalization. So what was it that might have went wrong in your quest for victory?
Did you say what might have gone wrong?
Well, I guess so. I mean, we saw that there was a lot of chaos tonight, and it might have reshuffled the order. So what happened that might have put you away from the top battle? Because it certainly saw you had a lot of speed.
Yeah, I had a lot of speed throughout the race. Michigan is one of my best tracks. I find it fun, but with these new ARCA cars, they're a bit wild. I don't like that we have to shift down to third gear that much. I think they're gonna update the car later this week. So I think that might help a bit. But here at Michigan, I mean, you really shouldn't shift down to third gear at all. I do wish we came here with the street stocks. But maybe we'll do it later this season. But overall, it was a great race. It was clean up front. I do apologize to Wilkerson getting into him on the first lap there. That was my mistake. But I mean, yeah, it was a fun race, I guess.
And you're able to come out with a great finish as a result. So third of the night here, and we will end up going back into the street stocks very soon. That's going to be our all-star race, which looks to be after an off week. So 2 weeks to prepare for the all-star event in this league. What's it going to take for you to come out on top of it?
Yeah, I love street stocks at Charlotte. It's a fun combo to do. It acts like a super speedway, so it provides good racing. I'm ready to show off a good looking scheme there. Yeah, to just pull it off, there's really nothing you could do. You want to stay up front, avoid all the chaos, and honestly, anyone can come out in victory at Charlotte.
And that might just be the case. But Gavin Austin here, not anyone could come out of victory, and not anyone could come home with a podium third on the board tonight. Any final thoughts, and anyone you'd like to thank?
I'll thank Jonathan for making my scheme. I'll thank my dad. I'll thank you guys. Thanks for the broadcast tonight. And thanks everyone who races this league. It's been fun these past weeks putting these races up. I know some of you guys have been having fun too. and I know this the rest of the season is going to be good, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
And there we have it. Gavin Austin going to be third on the board here at Michigan in the Yankee 140. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And that's going to do it for our podium interviews here tonight from the broadcast booth of Alexander Balderas, River Page, and Daniel Paulus Jr. This has been our coverage of the Yankee 140. Next race on the board, the Stock Car Racing League Redline Trucks at 8 Eastern as we tackle the All-Star race there at New Atlanta. Going to be a great show between the 24 best drivers in that league, and it's must-watch action in about 2 hours' time. Thank you all for watching once again live on FTN. We hope you enjoyed our broadcast and hope to see you whenever we are live once more. Thank you all, and we hope you have a great night.